The UFC press conferences consistently suck, and UFC 304 was no exception. It just recently wrapped up. I'm going to recap the entire thing. I was not very excited about making this video because it was a rather uneventful press conference with your typical mediocre questions that don't have much depth to them, but it's okay because I will recap it all and stay consistent with the press conference reaction. I do have some revolutionary ideas that I want to drop that could maybe make the pressers better because for the most part, they've been bad. UFC 300s was fun, but that was a special card. And obviously, if there's a Conor McGregor in the mix, there's probably going to be a fun press conference. But overall, it's the same shit every time. Rinse and repeat these press conferences because there's no difference. It's the same. It's boring. All right. Revolutionary idea. I want to start with that. What if, as the MMA YouTube community continues to grow, there's video questions from any MMA YouTubers that bring some value, right? We send them into the UFC, everybody drops them, and the UFC picks through what they think are the best ones. Now, obviously, they're probably going to eliminate a lot of the based ones, but at least we can have, some magic, maybe something exciting. I don't know. Something better than, your basic training camp questions and whatnot. We'll talk about all the questions that were asked soon, okay? Enough of these boring questions, though. I want something better. I also believe that every fighter in some capacity should be asked about their prediction in the fight, or at least about a vulnerability that their opponent shows. And I think the media should stir the shit pot a little bit. Get these guys clashing. Get some BS talk. Let's have a little more shit talk. And this press conference here, instead of having, good shit talk, I mean, the main event was okay, but instead of having, Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett go at it, they essentially buried the hatchet at the press conference, which I didn't like. To be honest, I would have rather them keep going after each other, a little more cutthroat. Another idea, Dana White should give us some kind of fight announcement or exciting news for the UFC during every press conference, because at this point, he's kind of just standing there moderating it. Overall, yeah, not a great press conference. I am going to recap it. A lot of times I do the key moments in one section and then the extra, but I'm just going to go what happened by what happened. We're going with the start of the presser to the end. So make sure you guys smash the likes, especially if you like the ideas. Smash the likes for that. And let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're already liking the vibe of the channel, subscribe if you haven't yet. All right. First up, Leon Edwards was asked about Belal hating him so much and Belal claiming that he's going to torch Leon Edwards and how this fight is very personal to Belal and that affects Leon in any way, does it? Leon says, when does Belal torch anybody, which is like absolute facts. Belal's got 0 knockdowns. I mean, the closest thing to a torching was when he touched up Sean Brady with his hands, and he looked really good in that fight, but let's be honest. Brady, good grappler. Sean Brady is not a tremendous boxer. Leon said, this guy doesn't do this. Same guy. He says he's like Canelo. And then he was asked about what beating Belal will do for his legacy. And then Belal quickly jumped in and he says, keep the same energy. Boo me now. Garbage, man. Garbage. Overall garbage. Sorry. Leon just says it's another guy in the way. He's chasing greatness and a record. He's trying to break the UFC title defense record. All right. I mean, it's a fact. It's a cool fight. But the, pre-fight shit talk between Belal and Leon, it's been okay. It hasn't been horrible. There's been some fun moments. Belal was asked about Leon, saying that he's the least intimidating guy. And he says it's not about intimidation. He'll be intimidated when we're in the cage together. So Belal was asked about Leon not being intimidating, right? Or rather, Leon claiming Belal is not intimidating. I'm getting my words fumbled over here. To be honest, I felt like half of this press conference, even though it was supposedly all in English, I wasn't understanding Leon Edwards that well. Like, he is hard for me to understand sometimes. Like, I found myself rewinding, listening twice to the press conference and still being like, I think this is what he said. So if there's any mishaps on my translations, I don't know too much about that British English. Sometimes those guys are much more difficult to understand than the folks over from across the pond in America. Now, Belal was asked about how he said he'd have more fans in attendance than Leon. Leon laughed, which honestly, I wanted to laugh too. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha, because it was pretty funny. there's not going to be more fans for Bilal. I know there's a big Muslim community in the UK, but I think anybody from the UK, at least 90% of them are backing Leon Edwards if you're a UFC fan. Bilal says, oh, we only got half the crowd here watching. They'll be cheering when he's bleeding. Bilal making Leon bleed, I could see Bilal taking him down and grinding him up, but making him bleed, I'd bet that he doesn't make Leon bleed. I'll tell you that straight out the gate right now. If that's a bet, I'd bet on it. Now, Aspinall was then asked a question, and it was about people overlooking Curtis Blaydes striking. Right away, Aspinall shouts out Manchester in his Skyrim-like voice. The crowd goes crazy. He's obviously a massive fan favorite, and right now, probably the best heavyweight in the world. Aspinall actually gave Curtis Blaydes a lot of praise, and he said that he's not underrating him in any way, and he believes this fight is between the two best heavyweights in the world. I mean, I get the gripe against John Jones' title run, and John Jones being gifted the title shot initially against Cyril Gane, who's a suspect grappler. But John Jones does still have the lineal title, no matter what. Like, let me pop out this in real quick. No matter what you say, John Jones has the heavyweight belt. This is an interim title fight. We need to see the John Jones fight for, the winner, specifically for Aspinall. If it's Blaydes, it's going to be a hard sell. Blaydes was then asked about Aspinall's speed, and he said that Aspinall is one of the fastest. Very basic question. Yeah, no shit. No shit. That question doesn't make sense, bro. Oh, does Francis Ngannou punch hard? No shit. Is Tom Aspinall fast? No shit. Was there really a need for that question? Obviously, he knows Aspinall's fast. We have eyes, too. We don't need to hear it from Curtis. We realize that it's true. Dana was then asked about the Aspinall Blaydes winner fighting the winner of Stipe Jones. He says, absolutely. It better be. I mean, at this point, if they don't do that fight, then, okay, promote Aspinall to the damn championship. Obviously, I'm already overlooking Blaydes, but come on. Aspinall's going to win the fight. Stop it. Pimblett was then asked about King Green, saying that he's been handed everything, whereas Bobby Green has gone through the fire and really had to emerge in the UFC. And then Paddy, he said he couldn't hear the media guy that was asking the question. It was a lot of, crowd cheers and chanting. But overall, what I gathered from Paddy Pimblett's somewhat difficult to understand accent, yes, I'm making fun of the Liverpool thing that they do. He said, I made myself, lad. I don't have a good Paddy Pimblett impression. I can try it. I mean, made myself, lad. I win me fights. It's mad to say I'm a spoiled kid just because I got a pair of shorts and you never. Pretty much saying that he's got the custom shorts and Bobby Green never got no custom shorts. And then he was asked if preparation is different from other camps because they beef with one another. Obviously, probably not. Pimblett says Green started everything, and claiming that he did not mention Green's name. He didn't mention any shit talk. He didn't stir the pot. It's all Bobby Green. And then Green said, listen, it's not a big deal. I was just taking a piss. And Pimblett said, oh, he's learning that British twang. I think he said British slang, but I don't know. I heard twang. My brain just auto went to the, American twang thing for the people from the deep south. But yeah, he's got a British twang, I guess. Green was asked about prep for the hype of Paddy. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Can we take a second? Can we take a second to recognize the past few questions? What validity do they have? I would rather Ariel Helwani be asking questions again and stirring the pot and starting shit instead of let's calm the shit down. Let's make you guys buddies before the fight. And then Green shouts out the crowd saying he's here for the fans and with the fans. I don't know. I feel like Bobby Green's going to lose. That's the vibe he's giving off. He's not giving off a winner in enemy territory vibe. He's giving off a loser in enemy territory vibe. He was then asked, will they shake hands at the end? And both agreed that it's not personal and, it's a little bad blood, kind of a good thing. And Paddy pretty much said, he's happy there's a little bad blood. It's better, fighting somebody you got a little vengeance against as opposed to being best friends. And he said that they'll have a bevy together in the hotel room. So they're going to, come together, have a drink afterwards. Fantastic. All right, so you already made up before the fight. Green says the same, nothing personal. And, Paddy got Green's attention, but it's all love. So why not just kiss and make up beforehand? What should have happened, if we're talking about selling fights, they should have got at each other's throats. Even if it's not a personal beef, I would rather see the shit talk. I mean, it seemed personal at one point. Now they're pals. I would much have preferred, if somehow Patty stirred the pot, yeah, I'm going to knock him out. But now it's like we're buddy-buddy. I hate it. I hate it. I would rather see a shit stir pot. And sometimes they need someone at these press conferences to lead the shit dance. Sometimes you need a freaking instigator. Ariel Helwani was a great instigator, and he'll always be a great instigator. And I think him at press conferences in this modern era will be fantastic. Unfortunately, doesn't seem likely. Blaydes was asked about fighting for, the belt or fighting Tom Aspinall. What is more important to him? He said the title, and if the belt wasn't on the line, he doesn't even know if there would be a rematch. Facts. Bilal's then asked a question about the elevator footage and him saying Leon was scared, and then the footage being released, and actually Bilal looked kind of scared. It was definitely, Team Leon 10-9. Bilal didn't have much to say. Online, he's claiming like he big dogged Leon Edwards, but I think he got big dogged. The boos came in right away, too, as Bilal was getting asked the question. Bilal says he was a bear in the woods and he smelled the fear in him. And he also said, where's that midget at, referring to Leon's coach. So that was a good remark by Bilal. I like that one. Where's that midget at? That was funny. That was a good win. And then he also shouted out Spain instead of shouting out the UK crowd. Another one. That was good. Okay, Bilal. Bilal's picking it up. He's bringing some thunder. At least Leon and Bilal are talking some shit against one another. Leon asked, was he scared of Bilal? And then Leon says, Bilal Muhammad, no. That question, Leon asked, was he scared? Can we find a way to get a better answer? Like, what? Was he scared? Were you scared of him? Were you scared of Bilal in the elevator, Leon? Obviously, he's going to say no. I don't know. I would have said, did you think of punching him in the face? Yeah, I wanted to hit him right there. What would have happened if you guys came to blows? I would have laid him out. That would have been better. There's ways to improve these press conferences, and it's not like totally changing the question. It's using the base, but then getting something with more depth to like stir a pot. It's like writing a story. You just say, I went here, and I went there, and I went to sleep at night. Nobody cares. But if you add in some excitement, I had road rage here. I went to the grocery store and I slipped on the milk. I don't know. Bring me something, please. Green was then asked if he was surprised by the crowd reception for Paddy in Manchester. And then pretty much it was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Support your boy. And then, when these hands go, it's go time. It wasn't a major moment. There really wasn't much to note about that segment. Next up, Dana's asked, is this the biggest night in UK MMA history? And he said probably, and we already broke the gate record, but it is a relatively new arena they're fighting at. But he said it's a big deal, and I agree. Then Bobby Green pulls off one big moment. He says, can we get the 100K bonus? And then Dana says, Leon says yes, and boom, makes it happen. They're doing the 100K bonuses, which I think is actually a good idea. I've always felt that for UFC pay-per-view cards or cards that have a lot at stake, 100,000 bonus is better. I definitely think 100,000 bonus is superior to 50. Like, okay, at the Apex 50, small fight night cards 50. But for Abu Dhabi or for this card this weekend, 304, numbered events should be 100. And I think that major fight night cards with very high implications should also be 100. Leon said something funny, though. He says, Bilal, don't worry, you ain't knocking anyone out, because Bilal was celebrating a bit. He's like, buddy, you ain't getting 100K. Only way Bilal gets 100K is if they got fight of the night, which I'm not anticipating Leon and Bilal to be fight of the night. I don't think so. And then Dana was asked about a stadium fight next, claiming, Paddy wants a stadium fight. The British fans want it. Dana pretty much said, listen, I'm not a fan of stadium fights. It's not my thing. I prefer arenas. They don't want to do it outside, I think because the weather's a factor, right? I kind of get it. For the UFC, you don't want it raining and shit. And then, Bilal jumps in. Oh, Leon won't be a star after Saturday night. Crowd boos a bit. And then another one of these damn journalists says, quick test for Wembley. Crowd, give it a cheer if you want Wembley. And you hear like maybe a third of the crowd go, woo, yeah. But it's like relatively quiet. Dana's like, yeah, there's 1/3 of the crowd. It's definitely not unanimous. So I thought that was pretty cool. Dana's up. Dana 10-8s the media consistently. Dana's got his, His big fucking savage moment right there. Dana always kicks the media's ass. Bilal was then asked about hating Leon and does it annoy you that Leon isn't batting an eye? Bilal says it doesn't matter. I'll be battering his face Saturday. Your boy is getting headshot dead. I said horrible by Bilal. I wrote that down. Horrible by Bilal. He seems like the awkward uncle that's like trying to fit in with the young kids and keep the, youthful lingo, but just is completely out of touch. That's the vibe I got from Bilal there. Saying headshot dead for him was extremely cringy. I got secondhand embarrassment, and I feel embarrassed saying it right now. I feel the embarrassment brewing. Yeah, that was a bad Bilal moment. Bilal just lost like 20 points of aura after saying that. It was going up, but he just lost anything he gained on this press conference. Leon says he's too slow, referring to Bilal anyways. Now that he's angry and tense, he's going to be slower. And then Bilal's like, oh, you're whispering. I can't understand you. Fair point, though. That's facts by Bilal. Leon is rather hard to understand. His thick accent and the fact that he has like a consistent habit of like somewhat mumbling, he may as well be speaking a foreign language. I don't get it all, man. I'm telling you, I might be misquoting him because I can't understand everything he's saying. Leon said he's going to KO him, and then Bilal says he's done in 3. So Leon's calling a knockout. Bilal's calling a finish. I think that the odds of this fight finishing, yeah, they're hyping it up at the presser, but it's probably going distance. Aspinall was then asked a question about his walkout and claims that he's going to have the best walkout in UFC history Saturday night. He didn't tell us what song he's walking out to, but he's promising some excitement. That's a good sign. I hope that he has the best walkout ever. And then Aspinall was asked about Bisping, helping him out about an early morning start, because last time they were in Manchester, Bisping was the main event when he fought Anderson Silva, and he gave Bisping a ton of praise. Pretty much said he's the godfather of UK MMA, and it's going to be an honor to fight in front of the people Saturday night. Goodbye, Aspinall. I don't need a lot of shit talk from Aspinall. I think he sells himself, too. I don't know. Aspinall, he's got a cool voice. He's got a cool vibe. He's a quick heavyweight. You don't need to talk too much shit. But for some of the other guys, I prefer a little shit talk. Leon then was asked about the last fight with Bilal, and he claims that he would have knocked Bilal out in the second round if not for the eye poke. And then Bilal again, I can't understand you, Leon. He keeps whispering. I don't know what he's saying. It's facts, though. Like, Leon, he doesn't speak up enough, man. It's hard for Leon to garner a significant fan base, I feel like, outside of the UK because he's hard to understand. I don't know, Mario Rios, the YouTube Shorts guy, he's also kind of built Leon up a little bit with the casuals just because, claiming he's got the best physique in the UFC and whatnot. And I get what he's saying there. Fucking Leon's jacked. But yeah, I don't know. Leon also is not the most entertaining, right? He's a safety-first fighter. His game is built upon winning, but not necessarily finishing guys. Then Blaydes was asked a question about avoiding submissions. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Yeah, how's he going to avoid submissions? Well, I credit my BJJ work over the last 6 to 8 years. Yup. That's a question for you. That just wasted our damn time. No shit, Bilal, what am I saying? No shit, Blaydes does a lot of grappling. He's a wrestler first and foremost, and he works his jiu-jitsu. I don't know. Is there any submission from Tom Aspinall that you feel threatens you? No, I'm going to stifle him everywhere. How do you feel about his submission win over Volkov? When you went 5 rounds with Volkov, does that give you any fear of his jiu-jitsu game? Do you have any worry that he could capitalize against you on the ground? Is there any aspect of his grappling that, like, something better? There's more depth that you can give these damn questions. That's what annoys me, is there's ways to ask the same question but get a better answer from fighters. Like, yeah, a lot of fighters are not the most talkative. Sure, there's plenty of guys that can talk their ass off that are pro fighters, but some of them are more introverted or, maybe not as comfortable on stage, which makes sense, bro. Not everybody's a damn performer. Now, if I was on stage, I'd be going off. I'd be talking craziness. But these guys are not professional speakers, right? So I think that the people asking questions for the press conferences especially need to formulate ways to ask the question to make it easier for fighters to elaborate their answer, as opposed to lines that can just be boring and quick. Yes, no, and then 3 words after it. That's boring as shit. That's not what any fan wants. We want to hear more. We want, what it Blaydes, you word? No, I don't feel it. I'm going to smash them on the ground. Like, I don't know. There's ways to lead them into more in-depth answers, and it's a consistent problem. These UFC press conferences are bad, and I'm starting to feel like, I hate to say it, but for a lot of these cards, I feel like the press conference is unnecessary. I can watch the media day, and I'll get more elaboration. Like, biggest moment of the presser is maybe, you know, Bilal going back and forth a little bit with Leon, and then Dana White dropping the 100K bonus. Like, all right, I guess. Pretty much Bilal asked about the elevator situation is the best question of the night. That's the pound for pound best question of the night. So whoever asked that question about the elevator, kudos to you. Those are valuable questions. I also think that Dana White should have been asked about Muhammad Mokaev and Manel Kape's altercation. Why has that fight been dropped down to the prelims after it was on the main card? Why are we not asking things like this? Is nobody thinking them but me? I can't be the only one. That doesn't make any damn sense. So that is the press conference recap and reaction. I do hope you guys enjoyed, so smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you like the vibe, subscribe. I got daily content, predictions for all the UFC cards with reaction videos, news, live streams, etc. Fight Companion, which I'm hyped for the full card this Saturday. So keep on tuning in. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you agree with my criticism of this press conference and press conferences as a whole. And if you have any suggestions that maybe I didn't mention that you think can make these press conferences better, definitely let your voice be heard in the comments, because I think as a community, we need to come together and formulate a way to make UFC press conferences great again, because they've been sucking. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.